Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Wednesday, and today we're going to be talking about a story, or actually a person. So, as some of you all know, we are not going to have any school on Friday. So, on the 9th and on the 12th. And, boys and girls, do you know why you're not going to have any school on Monday? It's actually Christopher Columbus Day, and what do you know about Christopher Columbus? Maybe you've heard of him, right? But do we know what he's done, why he's remembered, why we celebrate it? So today we're going to go ahead and talk about Christopher Columbus. So this is a story you do not have in your packet, but I wanted to take some time to teach you about Christopher Columbus. That way you can tell your parents, your grandparents, or whoever, hey, do you know what Christopher Columbus is? And do you know why we have a day that celebrates him? So let me show you where you can find this biography about Christopher Columbus. If you have a printer at home, you're more than welcome to print it. But I do need you to have a blank sheet of paper with you with your name, date, and go. So on Teams, boys and girls, click on Reading Class. And then you're going to go ahead and click on number 4 where it says Reading Notes. And on here, you'll be able to see the article that I posted. So yes, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, and you can also print it if you have a printer at home. Do you have to print it? No, boys and girls, you do not. You do have to have a blank sheet of paper in front of you. Okay, boys and girls, remember, I need you to have a blank sheet of paper. So if you want to do it in the packet, if you have a blank sheet of paper there, that's fine. If you want to do it in your notebook, that is also okay, as long as you're writing everything that I write. Because you do not have the story in front of you, just like when you take your BWA, it's very important, boys and girls, that we start taking notes. So I'm going to start with my name. The date, so today is October 9, 2020, and we have a goal, boys and girls. Tomorrow is your BWA 3. What is your goal? So my goal is that all my students master their BWA. That's my goal. Is that your goal? If your goal is to master, make sure you also write it. I want you to label this paper, because remember, we're writing this in the blank sheet of paper. I want you to label it Christopher Columbus. So that's our title. Now, what do you know about Christopher Columbus? So I want you to write it here. So I know Christopher Columbus. Now, what have you heard about him? So I'm going to go ahead and give you 2 minutes to tell me, what do you know about Christopher Columbus? Well, Miss Alvarado, what happens if I don't know anything about Christopher Columbus? Then I want you to write it here. I don't know about Christopher Columbus, but what is something that you would want to learn, or what do you want to know? So I'm going to write it right here. I don't know about Christopher Columbus, but I would like to learn So I'm going to let you complete the sentence. So you have a minute and a half. If you have heard of Christopher Columbus, what do you know about him? What is he known for? If you've never heard of Christopher Columbus, then you would write this sentence. I don't know about Christopher Columbus, but I would like to learn. What would you like to learn? So we know it's a person. What do you want to know about him? Maybe you want to know why we celebrate him. Maybe you want to know where he was born. Maybe you want to know what he did in his life. What he looked like. What do you want to know about Christopher Columbus? You have the last 45 seconds. Remember, you should be writing this in a blank sheet of paper. What do you know, or what do you not know but want to learn? Last 30 seconds. 20 seconds. What do you know about Christopher Columbus? Or what do you want to know about Christopher Columbus? I know we're going to be off on Monday. There's no school. So yay! But who is he? Why is he celebrated? 5 seconds. Alrighty, boys and girls, the next thing that I want you to do before we do anything else is I want you to do a T-chart. Yes, you heard that right. Just like you do in math class, boys and girls, I want you to do a T-chart. So it's very simple. You are going to need a lot of space, so make sure you have, I have half a page left, so I can go ahead and do that. So let me show you. I have all this, and yes, make sure you write it all the way to the bottom because you're going to need space to write. So it's very easy, a T-chart. And this is something that we're going to start implementing. So tomorrow when you do your test, I'm going to say, boys and girls, start drawing your T-chart. You know what I'm talking about. And yes, you could use these notes for tomorrow. On this side, I want you to write the genre. So the genre could be an informational, it could be a biography, a historical fiction, it could be a poem. Now on this side, I want you to write author's purpose. So here we're going to write the genre of what we're going to read, the author's purpose. Now, why did the author sit down and write this story? There's a reason behind everything, boys and girls. There's always a reason. On this side, I want you to write text features. I know the author sometimes includes text features. What were they? Why did he include them? And then right underneath text features, I want you to write the 5 W's. Remember, what are the 5 W's that you ask yourself every single time you're reading a story? Remember, as a good reader, you have to be doing this. It's the who, what, when, where, and why. Boys and girls, if you can answer all these 5 W's, that means that you understood the selection. You understand why the author wrote the selection. You understand the genre. You understand the text features and why he included them, he or she included them. So you're able to tell me everything. On this side, we're going to write what the story is mostly about. Or, remember, if it's mostly about, that means it has a main idea. So I'm going to write here a main idea. And remember, I asked myself 2 questions. What are those questions? Who or what? And what about it? So good job. If you're answering all of my questions, I know that you've learned in 4th grade and that you're ready for your BWA. And I know that you're getting ready for 5th grade. If you don't know what to answer as I'm asking, remember, take notes. Practice. Practice makes perfection, boys and girls. And then here I want you to write /summary. Now, boys and girls, I know that when we summarize, we use 3 letters. What are they? Great job if you said BME. What does the B stand for? Beginning. What about the M? Middle. And the E? End. Boys and girls, can I summarize a story if it's a biography? If it's an information, if it's an expository? No, I cannot. When is the only way that I can do a summary? When there's what type of story? A fiction story. So I want you to write here in big letters. I can only do it if it's fiction. Underline it 3 times, boys and girls. So I know I can only do a summary if it's fiction. I can only do it BME. If it's asking me a summary for an information or a biography, then I have to have a main idea. So who or what about it. I'm going to go ahead and give you the last minute to copy all these notes that I just wrote down. Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit. So on Thursday, when you start taking your BWA, you should have a blank sheet of paper in front of you. You should do this T-chart. It has to have the genre, the author's purpose, why did he write it, what text features were they, and why did he include them. You have to tell me the 5 W's. It was there who, what, when, where, why. And then what is the story mostly about, or the summary? Does it have a main idea? That means it has a who or what about it? Or you can tell me the summary by beginning, middle, and end, because that means it was a fiction story. You have the last 5 seconds. And time is up. I'm going to go ahead and park my pencil. And I want everybody slanting towards the screen. Okay, I want you to slant towards the screen because we're going to watch a very quick video about Christopher Columbus. We're going to find out a little bit about him, and then we're going to start reading more.
Christopher Columbus is often cited as the explorer who discovered America. Of course, there were already people living in America at the time, who we call Native Americans. There was also another European, Leif Erikson, who had been to the Americas before Columbus. However, it was Columbus's voyage that started the exploration and colonization of the Americas by the European empires. Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy in 1451. He later lived in Lisbon, where he worked as a trader. He learned how to make maps and navigate a ship. Columbus and his brother Bartholomew knew that there were great riches to be had in China and East Asia. However, traveling overland by the Silk Road was dangerous, and the sea route around Africa seemed much too long. Columbus thought he could sail straight to China by crossing the Atlantic Ocean. It would later turn out that Columbus was wrong. The Earth was much larger than he thought, and there was a major landmass, the Americas, between Europe and Asia. Columbus spent years trying to convince someone to pay for his voyage. He first tried to get King John II of Portugal to pay for his journey, but the king was not interested. Finally, he was able to convince Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain to pay for the trip. Columbus set sail on August 3, 1492, with 3 ships named the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. The voyage was long and difficult. At one point, his men threatened to mutiny and wanted to turn back. Columbus promised them he would turn back in 2 days if they did not find land. In his journal, however, he wrote that he had no intention of turning back. On October 12, 1492, land was spotted. It was a small island in the Bahamas that Columbus would name San Salvador. He met natives there that he called Indians because he was convinced that he had landed on the islands off the coast of East Asia. He also visited other islands in the Caribbean, such as Cuba and Hispaniola. After making his discovery, Columbus was eager to return home to Spain and claim his riches. Only the Pinta and the Nina were able to return to Spain, however, as the Santa Maria wrecked off the coast of Hispaniola. Columbus left 43 men behind on the island to start up an outpost. Upon returning home, Columbus was treated like a hero. He presented some of the unique items he had found in the New World, including turkeys, pineapples, and natives he had captured. The King of Spain was pleased enough to fund future expeditions. Columbus would make 3 more voyages to the Americas. During these voyages, he explored more of the Caribbean and even saw mainland America. Columbus died on May 20, 1506. He died thinking he had discovered a shortcut to Asia across the Atlantic Ocean. He never knew what an amazing discovery he had made.
Okay, boys and girls, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come back to our previous question. Remember, what did you know about Christopher Columbus? Were you right just by watching that video? Or what did you learn about Christopher Columbus? So you have 2 minutes to complete this question. Were you right? Were you wrong? Or did you learn something new? So make sure you write it down here. I want to see all those pencils moving. Remember, all of this you should have already copied into a blank sheet of paper. If you don't have a blank sheet of paper, you can get your packet from reading class, find a blank sheet of paper, and copy all of this. You have a minute and a half. You have the last minute. So we can already tell what kind of selection we're going to start reading. If it's talking about a person, what is a genre? So start thinking about it. Which genre talks about a person? Now, I know Christopher Columbus is a person, so it could be either a biography or autobiography. But which one is it? So once we start reading the selection, you will find out. You have the last 30 seconds. Remember, you're completing this question. What did you know about him? Were you right? Or did you find out something about him? Something new? Remember, what did he thought or what did he think he did? He thought he had done something. What was it? The last 15 seconds. Alrighty, and let's go ahead and park our pencils and let's start with our selection. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in front of me. Remember, you don't have this selection, unfortunately, but I did want to take the time to teach you about Christopher Columbus. So it's okay because we have our handy dandy T-chart, which is where we're going to write all of our notes. Okay, so when I say take out your T-chart, this is the T-chart that we just created. So let's start, boys and girls. First of all, what is this called? So it kind of looks like an illustration, right? But, oh my goodness, what is this? If it's describing what is happening, it's called a what? So this caption tells me that it's a painting. Oh, boys and girls, it's a painting of Christopher Columbus and some of his crew landing on the Caribbean islands. So this is a place for the first time. Okay, so let's see and describe what is happening in this photograph. So take out your handy dandy T-chart. And what is happening in this photograph? What do you see? So I see water. There's also a what? There's a boat. Now look at this photograph. I'm sorry, at this painting. What do you notice? There's men on boats. What are they carrying? A flag. Now, are they dressed the same as us right now? They are not, right? So this was probably a long time ago, right? So let's go ahead and go back to our T-chart and let's write that. So I have a painting. And remember, what did we say? So in this painting, there's a boat. So I'm going to put here is a boat with men. And remember, look at the caption. What did it say? Where were they? They were landing on the Caribbean islands. So I'm going to put here men on the Caribbean islands. I know that's a place. Now, not only was it men, who else was there? Who are we reading about? Christopher Columbus. I'm going to put here Christopher Columbus. Good. So I'm looking at the text features. So far there is a painting and it's a boat with men on the Caribbean islands. And I know it has Christopher Columbus. Now I'm just describing the painting or the photograph or the illustration. I don't need complete sentences. So it's okay if you don't have a complete sentence. You have 15 more seconds to write this down. Last 3 seconds. Okay. And then I see what else, boys and girls. What is this called? Christopher Columbus. It's a title. Good job. So I know Christopher Columbus is a what? How can we synonym that title? He's a person. Good. Now underneath the title I have another text feature. What is that called? So if this is a title, this is a subtitle. Good job if you said subtitle. So I'm going to go ahead and label here. I have a subtitle. Now this subtitle, boys and girls, it says the man, the myth, the legend. So I know that he's considered what? He's considered a myth and a legend, right? What is a myth and a legend? A myth is something that is somebody tells you, right? Kind of like stories. And then legend is something that people say that if a black cat passes in front of you, it's bad luck, right? It's kind of like a legend. So we know that he's very well known, right? So the man, I know, what's a synonym for the word man? It's a person, right? I know a synonym for myth is, it's a story or stories. And legend is something that is told. So I know that this selection, boys and girls, is going to be about a person who is Christopher Columbus. It's a story and it's been told. So it's something that we know. Now, boys and girls, as I keep going down, I see early life. I know this whole section is going to be about what? Remember, section is only part of the story. What is it going to be about? His early life. Yeah, so this is going to be all about his early life. Let's see if we find other text features. Let's flip the page. What else do I see here? This is a photograph. Good job. So I have another photograph. Now, based on our title, who do we think this is? Christopher Columbus, yeah. And then there's actually also a description. And it says it's a portrait of Christopher Columbus. Now, how does he look like? What does he look like? How can we describe this photograph? He looks very serious, right? So I'm going to put here hashtag he's serious. So he looks like he was a serious man. Now on this side, boys and girls, what is this called? I have another one. A heading. Now, boys and girls, what is this section going to be about? All these paragraphs. I have 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. What are they going to be about? Columbus's journey, right? What does it mean by a journey? So it's kind of like a trip, right? When I say my journey to Disney World, that means everything that I went through, right? My trip to Disney World, or how it happened. Good. Now, what else do we see? We see another what? Heading. So we know that this whole section is going to be about what? Why we remember him, right? So if he's remembered, he is well known, right? So remember, all I'm doing is synonym the headings. That is it. So I know this section is going to be about what we remember him. This section is going to be his journey, his trip. This section is going to be about his early life. So I know already what is happening. Boys and girls, I see photographs, I see pictures, I see a real person's name. I see that they're going to tell me about his life. They're going to tell me about his journey. They're going to tell me about what we remember him. So on our T-chart, boys and girls, what is the genre of this selection? If it's talking about a person, it's probably a biography, right? Now, Ms. Alvarado, how do you know that's not an autobiography? Well, boys and girls, did he use my legend, my myth? I am Christopher Columbus. Does any of this look like it's I, me, or my? No, right? I don't see anything here. Even in the headings or the subtitles, or in the here in the section, it doesn't say my early life. Why I was remembered. My journey. So is it talking in first person? No, it's talking in third person. So I'm going to go ahead and write here biography. And then I'm going to write here third person point of view. Now, how do I know that? What does third person use? If first person uses I, me, my, third person is pointing to somebody. So what would you use? So he, she, they, right? It's talking about somebody. He went to sharpen his pencil. She got up. They are having a party. I'm talking in third person. Now, author's purpose. So what is the reason that the author wrote this selection? So we have to read it, right, in order to find out. So far we have the text features. We have 2 paintings. The other one was of, I'm going to put here a painting of Christopher Columbus. I remember, how did he look there? He was very serious, right? So I'm going to add my little hashtag here. He was very serious. Okay, so far this is what I have. I have an overview of what I'm going to read. I know what to expect. I know a biography is going to give me information about a person. I know it's third person because he didn't write it. He didn't use I, me, my. So it's third person point of view. Then there's also text features. There's paintings, Christopher Columbus. There's also a boat with men, and I know that they're in the Caribbean islands, and it has Christopher Columbus on it. What is the author's purpose? Well, I have to read it, boys and girls. I can't answer all these questions unless I read it. So I'm going to go ahead and move my T-chart this way, and I'm going to start with my highlighter. Remember, as a good reader, I read it 2 times. So let's start. When Christopher Columbus set out for his first journey on August 3, 1942, he thought he could cross the Atlantic Ocean in 2 weeks. His crew grew tired after more than a month at sea and told Columbus to turn back. Columbus didn't listen, and so the 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, sailed for 2 months. Oh, boys and girls, so who is the selection about? So Christopher Columbus, when he set out for his journey on August 3, 1942, he thought he could cross the Atlantic Ocean in 2 weeks. Okay, Christopher Columbus, what about him? He went out on his first journey. When? Does it tell me when? Yes, August 3rd, 1492. Now, why did he do that? What did he think he was going to accomplish? He thought he can cross the Atlantic Ocean. Now, he thought he could cross it in how long, boys and girls? He thought he could do it in 2 weeks, right? But boys and girls, is that true? Can he really do it in 2 weeks? No. How long did it take him? More than a month. That's a long time to be in the ocean. Can you imagine that? Just being in a ship in the water in the middle of nowhere for more than a month? No wonder the men grew tired, right? And he didn't listen to them. And he was on board of 3 ships. And what were they called? La Nina, La Pinta, and the Santa Maria. And they sailed on for 2 months. Wow, boys and girls, that's a very long time, right? So I'm going to put here hashtag. What did he do? He went out for a what? He went on a journey. How long was his journey? Was it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? It was for more than 2 months. So I'm going to put here hashtag journey of more than 2 months. Wow, that's a long time. I know I can't even be sitting down for 5 minutes, right? Because we get bored, we get tired, we want to do something. Now imagine just being there in a ship. You really can't do much, can't go anywhere. All right, let's go ahead and read the next section. Land was finally spotted on October 11, 1492, when a crew member shouted, "Terra, terra," meaning Latin. They had reached the Caribbean islands. But Columbus didn't know that. He thought they had reached India, where they could trade for spices and silk. Columbus would travel to the Caribbean islands 3 more times in search of gold and spices. So boys and girls, let's see. Let's go back and get our highlighter. So land was finally spotted on October 11, 1492. So remember, he left on August 3rd. When did he land? So he was finally landed 1492. Wow, that's a long time, right? And then they finally found land. Remember, they were out in the sea, so for them seeing land was very, very exciting. So they shouted, Terra, Terra, which in Latin means dirt, right? It's tierra in Spanish. Those of you that know Spanish, it's very, very similar. And where have they landed? The Caribbean Islands. Now, where did Christopher Columbus think he was? He thought he had reached what? India. Why would he want to go to India, boys and girls? What did he think he could do there? He wanted to trade for spices and silk. So I know that now it's like, oh, Miss Alvarado, why would they want to trade for spices and silk? But back then, boys and girls, spices were very, very important, and they were very delicious for people to add. So back then, it was a commodity, right? Kind of like us. Some students might have an iPhone, and it's like, oh my goodness, you can get an iPhone. Or some of us, or your parents maybe, they drive a really nice car, right? That's just something that some people can afford. Maybe not everybody wants it, and they could afford it. So it really depends. Columbus would travel to the Caribbean islands 3 more times in search of gold and spices. Now, boys and girls, he not only wanted spices, what else did he want? He also wanted gold. I know gold is very important, right? So let's go ahead and do a hashtag here. Let's see everything we highlighted. So he finally landed October 11, 1492. He reached the Caribbean islands. He thought he had reached India because he wanted to trade for spices and silk. And he went back for gold. So what should be my hashtag? What was the reason that he sailed? To trade. So I'm going to do hashtag went on a journey to trade. Good job. All right, boys and girls. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here. And I'm going to zoom out. Remember, if you're following along in your own paper because you printed it, great job. If you didn't, that's okay. That's why we have our handy dandy T-chart, because this is going to guide me with notes throughout as I keep reading. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and I will see you in the live session.